This week in VCT, there's now a new map coming to Valorant. Master Shanghai has officially completed, and what changes are happening currently in all the regions. So let's now talk about it. So let's now first talk about the new map which is coming up, which is Abyss. And it's very, very different compared to all the other maps that are currently in Valorant. If you have obviously seen my stream that I did a watch party for the grand final yesterday, and it was actually quite a lot of fun to watch Abyss. I mean, yes, it was just Team China versus Team International, so there wasn't any pro players, but still there was some good ideas, especially like from Mixwell with that like that jump off the map to teleport onto the map, which was pretty cool. And Masayoshi, I believe, he was just chilling on the trip line and killed one of the Team Chinese players. But there was some pretty good ideas, I'll be honest, from Abyss, and it looks incredible. I'll be honest, it looks really cool. So it kind of reminds me a lot of Fracture when that map was released, and it felt like you could do like quite a lot of things in that map that can, maybe change some stuff. But I mean, Abyss is definitely up there as a very vertical map. So I expect maybe a couple Omen, Jet, Raze, maybe Cypher as well, and then who can be the initiator? Maybe Fade or Gecko. So you can maybe say like any of those characters that I expect to maybe be played on Abyss, but it would be a good time to just slowly to play that when that gets fully released. Now let's now talk about some roster moves that's been happening. For first off with Leviathan, as they have officially announced the removal of Gukt. I'm a bit surprised about that. Yes, they struggled massively in Mount Shanghai, but I thought they were going to continue. But apparently not. There has been quite a lot of rumors of who's going to be replacing it. I think I can, on top of my head, I think I have like Bazooka, Eric, MCE, Onyo. There's like four different coaches that they could possibly replace Gokt, or they could maybe do like maybe a lot more sinister or a basic a better option is just to promote it to part of the head coach. That's really about it. So I mean, you don't really need to waste a lot of money on getting another coach, but if they want to do that, sure. If if they are looking to replace him with a new coach and it's a part of being promoted up to head coach role, then who is really going to replace Gukt in the Leviathan role? No idea. So I'll be interested to see of who is going to replace Gukt as the new coach for Leviathan. But in actuality, it should just be Itapata. I'll be honest, I should be in it, but apparently not. But we'll see. Billy Gaming, they have officially announced the signing of Neff. Now, I know what was the last episode, episode 6 or episode 5, I kept saying Neff as Def. No, it's Neff. So that was just a bit of a mistake on my part. But Billy Gaming have announced the signing of Neff, who is a Singaporean player who used, I guess, mainly when playing with Bleed Esports before they were actually part of Ascension. So, I mean, he's a good player. I don't know how the communication is going to go, I'll be honest, but I mean, we'll see. But it's a good change for Bilibili Gaming as of right now, but is it good for them long term? That's the main question. As well with the rumors as well that they're basically going to be exploding the whole roster. I don't really know what they're going to be doing there, but I mean, we'll see, I'll be honest, because I'll be interested to see of what their new roster looks like with Neff, possibly as well in the starting man roster. It'll be good, but is it going to help them actually make it a champion? That's my only main concern with this roster change. Tyler have been very, very busy as they have announced the release of Flexit and Coach Shy. Well, basically replacing him is Scales and Coach SLK. What is Tyler doing? I thought they wanted to keep flexing because yes, I mean, he's been alright, but I thought they just want some, some stability. But no, they want to keep changing everything. Like, and God, Shy, I don't understand why. He is a really good coach, in my opinion. Definitely better than Yi, I believe, in my opinion. But I mean, yes, he was part of Chowie Hedward Gaming, which was the top team in China, in GC side. But still, like, why would you? Why? I mean, I just don't understand. But signing Scales is weird. I think he used to play for Enter, I believe, in the Chinese region. So basically my knowledge of scales is like the equivalent of knowing about baseball. I got nothing. So no matter how scales is gonna go. While for SLK, this one really surprised me. He's the new head coach, I believe, possibly for this team. He's a Russian coach, used to coach for Fnatic. Um, I'm very surprised about that. Having SLK is one thing, but I just don't know how I guess how they're gonna communicate. I don't know if SLK can actually speak Chinese. He's been mainly in the European scene, so I have no idea. Like unlike Nate, which I know can actually speak Mandarin, I got nothing on SLK unless it could be communicating English to him. But I have no idea. Unless maybe it's Sunshine, he maybe can translate. If he does know English, he can maybe translate to them. But I generally have no idea. I'm just so confused about this whole change, this whole fiasco with Tyler. If they want to get better, I don't know if these are going to be. I don't know if these are the right changes. Like Scales is such a massive unknown. SLK, how is he going to be integrated into this team? No idea. Like it's so weird of what Tyler were doing coming up to stage 2. JD Gaming, they have been very busy as well during this off season as they have signed Annex as new head coach, replacing Van Analysis, who is now going to a official Korean team. Zion has also joined him as a player, while Yihao has been moved to the bench for health issues. Well, I should say health reasons, I should say not issues. But either way, JD Gaming, they are looking to make some changes. I'm very, very happy with these changes. Alex, he's a very well respected coach in Korea. I can't remember what team he's been I think he coached like SLT, I believe, maybe D plus. I think he might have coached a Chinese team, I believe. Honestly, I might be wrong, but this is a good change. I'll be honest. Van Analysis, he wasn't the best coach I thought he would be. He's kind of struggled as a coach for this team, so that's really surprised me considering that they have 4 of the 5 players formerly from Rare Adam, and yet they're still struggling. So it's really weird that what's happened with JD Gaming. Zion as well joining the team as a player. He was with the team before they signed the right Adam course. So I'll be interested. I mean, he's a duelist player, I believe. So or initiate, I might be one of those. So I think he's gonna be replacing maybe Yihao, I believe. But I don't know where Zion can maybe go if he is going to be the 5, if he is going to be on the starting roster or if he's going to be benched. I have no idea. While Yihao moving to the bench, pretty sad. I mean, he was a very consistent, well, still is, I'll be honest, one of the most consistent players basically in the server. When he was with Rare Adam, and with him now with him being benched, it's quite sad to see. So hopefully he doesn't come back to JD Gaming into Tier 1 because he'll be sorely missed, I'll be honest. But we'll see how JD Gaming go now with this new coaching staff of Annex. Um, and we'll see if Zion can even get some playtime. I'll be very interested in that. Just a small one now, as Vlad has officially joined Navi as the analyst. This is a great change in my opinion. Vlad, he used to be a coach for BBO, I believe. He's been also doing some commentating stuff as well for the Turkish scene. So it's good that he's now back in Tier 1 because I think he's still a pretty good coach in Turkey, especially. Yes, he was with BBL, which kind of struggled last year, but now that he's with Navi, who should make it the champions, Kiwi should. Watch him not make it the champions somehow. But now with Navi, who should make it the champions. Yes, they made some questionable decisions like getting rid of Eric and having Latix as the head coach. Obviously, no disrespect to Latix, he's a great he's still a great coach. I still think now with the synergy, I think Eric should be staying as a head coach, but whatever. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'll be honest. For Vlad to join as the analyst, which is a good sign. So we'll see how Navi goes next stage. One little thing as well for you, which I actually forgot to mention in my document, is that Team Liquid has officially announced that Apex will be their new affiliate partnership team, which is pretty cool. It was kind of, I mean, it was kind of confirmed when like Kaiko, Mystic, and Enzo, all of them were promoted from Apex to Team Liquid. So I mean, there's kind of already been a relationship there. Soul Castle moving now to Apex. So I mean, it's kind of already a relationship there, so it's cool that all these teams will have an affiliate team. Yes, it's mainly been like 3 European teams that we know of have announced that they have partnered up with an affiliate team, and Played Esports the only non-EMEA team to actually be with an affiliate team. But obviously in America we have EG who has an affiliate team with this unknown roster, not really too sure about. Leviathan, they have Furious Gaming, who last time I checked in my watch party aren't really going well in the Latin America South region, but it is what it is. I think UCAM Esports Club might be rumored to be with Giant X, and a couple other stuff as well has been happening as well behind the scenes for many other teams. But it's cool that we now have another team that wants to promote Zero True talent. And yes, it was a bit of a controversial and a very opinionated, basically, thing that happened as well with the affiliate partnership teams being announced. But it's cool even though that teams are taking advantage of that. So it's nice to see. And the final news goes to T1 as they have officially announced the signing of Stacks, the new IGL. I'm guessing for this team. If that's the case, I think Carpe is on the bench, which is quite sad, but it is needed. I mean, Carpe, he has struggled, in my opinion, throughout. I mean, he has had some good moments, but I just don't think Valorant is really the right suit for him. Like, he has struggled compared to everyone else on his team. And as well with Xwood as well as the new IGL, he's been still struggling, and it's not good to see. But now that they have a proper IGL, they have a star initiator player and one of the best IGLs in Korea. This would definitely help T1 in my opinion, and with as well with his veteranship, and I'm guessing as well to maybe get his revenge on DRX. And they already have some great players. I mean, Izu definitely showed it. Xgrid has shown as well throughout this year. Rossi, he could definitely be a great player, and we know how great Sire player is. So it's good to see that T1 are making some changes. It sucks for Carpe, but I mean, if Carpe wants to be a better player, he could definitely learn off Stacks to be a better player. But we'll see if Carpe is still on the team. Is he gonna be on the bench? Is another player now gonna be on the bench? Because Stacks has to be in the starting roster, right? Because he has to be. I mean, he's one of the best like Korean talent that we have still, and he's been in the game for a while. So if he does get into the 5-man roster, I'll be very, very surprised. Let's now move on now to America's first up with G2 Esports. They played 3 matches throughout this week. They versed Team Heretics twice and against Gen G. They won against Team Heretics once, then they lost against them again as well, along with Gen G. Jordan P, Trent, and Valorant both in with MVPs in their respective games. I mean, this is what happens when you play slow. you you basically just get pummeled and rolled over. I mean, look at the low bracket final against MA and Team Heretics. They were lost. G2 just looked so lost, and Team Heretics were just rolling them every single time. So even though G2 they have definitely cemented themselves as a great team in the international stage, we'll see how they go back in Americas now that there's a lot more stuff on them. But I think they should be alright as we come into stage 2 now for the Americas side. So they should be alright, but it doesn't change the fact that they are the most boring team to watch, in my opinion. And in wrap up Americas, we have 100 Thieves as they play 3 matches as well against Genji, Paper X, and Team Heretics. They won against who did they? So they lost against Genji, they won against Paper X, and lost against Team Heretics. Cryostel's Bang and Arsenal they both have MVPs in their respective games. 100 Thieves, they struggled. I mean, I expect a bit more from them, I'll be honest, but no, not there for 100 Thieves. So it's a bit disappointing for 100 Thieves because they have some great talent. I mean, Cryostel especially, Asuna, he's been really good. Throughout the tournament, Bang was been pretty good. EU has been consistent. Busio, we don't talk about Sunset on Team Heretics, I'll be honest. We don't talk about that. That was just a nightmare for Busio. But yeah, it was a bit of a struggle for 100 Thieves. I think they will definitely bounce back coming to stage 2. And I think that probably still be very, very competitive as well. I mean, I'm I I'm guessing the likes of teams like Sentinels, maybe Leviathan, whoever they're going to be the new coaches, definitely loud as well. they're looking for that championship spot. So there's gonna be a lot more teams who are gonna be competing for that championship spot. And 100 Thieves, they need to maybe watch their backs because some of these teams who, yes, haven't been playing for a while. I bet that yes, they've had breaks, but they've also been scrimming as well against definitely either their opponents in tier 1 or tier 2 teams as well. But yeah, we'll see how 100 Thieves goes now with some of these roster changes that has been happening in the America side. Considering that there was no Chinese team that played this week, let's just jump over to EMEA. And first off with Team Heretics, they played a total of 5 matches. G2 twice, Foot, 100 Thieves, and Gen G. They won 3 and lost 2. I guess we'll talk about the grand final now. Holy shit. I mean, that grand final was maybe one of the best grand finals I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's definitely up there as one of the best grand finals and maybe like one of like the best matches this year so far in 2024. But they kind of struggled, grand final especially. I mean, Woot, he was activated against 100 Thieves and Foot, but then he struggled along Gen G, and it worries me. Reyes was MVP as well, in my opinion, for Gen G, but it was just like it was just such a struggle for them in the grand final. Yes, it was their first grand final as well, but I mean they played pretty well considering it was their first grand final. But still, it's just like, oh god, like the pressure on the final 2 maps especially was just, you could just see and just shaking as well as they were on match point on the coming down to the fourth map, and then they just got demolished. So it's sad for Team Heretics going runner up in Shanghai, but it shows that this team can be competitive and this team is a force to be reckoned with. So that is at least a good sign. Hell, they even got their revenge as well against G2. So that's at least a good sign there for Team Heretics moving forward. For the esports, they lost against Team Heretics as the only match that they played. Our captain was MVP. And Foot, they were just like this weird team in Ma Shanghai where they were just up and down. Like they would have the highest of highs and have the lowest of lows. It was just so strange to me that Foot, who I mean I thought were pretty good and should maybe make it maybe to top 5. I think they probably did, not maybe like 6th or 7th, I believe, but they were just all right. I'll be honest. Yes, they are like the best Turkish team that we've had so far on the international stage. But with the level of talent that they have, like CNN, like Yetej, like Ada Captain, it worries me that this team should be elevated and should be higher up. I mean, I think maybe keep Mr. Fallen as well. Could cracks maybe on the chopping block maybe at the end of this year. I don't really know. But from what I've seen from Foot this year, especially, this team could easily be competing for a top 4 spot in Champions, possibly just from how they've been performing. But at the same time, they have just been looking so inconsistent as well. So if they can polish some stuff up, like the macro gameplay or like their comms and stuff, then they could maybe possibly be contention of winning the championship and being the first Turkish team to win an international event. But we'll see how they go in stage 2, and we'll see if they can keep this up coming to champions. For Pacific, we're first up with Paper X as they lost against 100 Thieves, and something was MVP. Like, where was 100 Thieves? Where were, like, not 100 Thieves, sorry, Paper Rex. Where were they? They just look so out of it. They look not like Paper Rex. They generally didn't. So it really worries me that this Paper Rex team, like, they weren't the first team to win an international event, even though they've been close twice in Copenhagen and in Champions. So, are they now the chokers? Are they the chokers of Pacific and in the international stage? Maybe. Is there maybe possible roster moves that needs to happen for this team? I think so. Because this team has been around for a while. I think maybe since 2021. Like this core that they have has been there for a while. Yes, something joined like I was the league last year, but like with like Mind Freak, Forsaken, Divide, Jing, those 4, and including like Coach Alex, all of them have been like all of them have been in paper for a while. So could there maybe be some changes? Do they maybe need another coach? I think so. In my opinion, I think they definitely need a new coach. Maybe bring some new ideas to the team because all I've seen from Paper X is press down W and sore really knees, and it somehow works out. It works out. I mean, one thing and one moment I can definitely remember is that Guardian played Blind by something, which was really stupid at the time, but somehow worked out for them. So if they can, possibly make this, like if they can maybe spring out some new ideas, and they could possibly as well maybe be competitive and maybe as well make it to the grand finals. Well, the champions this year in South Korea, but we'll see there because I'm just getting a bit worried for Paper X long term. We'll say not really short term, but definitely in long term in like a couple years time maybe because I think changes will be needed for Paper X. I mean, hell, look at DRX. They've already got rid of Stacks. They got rid of RB. They got rid of Zest. And the only players that are still around that has been there for a while is Mako and Buzz. So it's just like, I mean, you need to have new players, like new crop of players that need to take over old players. So we'll see what Paper X does if there are going to be any roster changes during this offseason. And the final team is actually a good time actually that the team has lost. That being Gen G. They were the champions of Master Shanghai and the first APAC team to win an international event. I was pulling so hard for Gen G. I know you can really tell as well from my watch party, but I was praying inside that Gen G would win because this team deserves it. I mean, from coming up short in Masters Madrid was just heartbreaking to watch. But now that they've gotten their revenge, basically their revenge tour is complete, and they won a Masters Shanghai is incredible. And could we maybe see them maybe even make it to the grand final in Champions because they look scary, they look horrifying. I mean, Texture especially, he's been popping off in that whole tournament, which I'm pretty sure got the grand finals MVP as well. Like Meteor, he had some great moments as well during the grand final. Lakia, he was alright. Munchkin just had this weird moment on Breeze where he somehow won with like 5 HP remaining. Karen, he was good as well, but I feel like he maybe the nerves got into him or something, but because he wasn't really performing like a Karen would normally play with, but it was still a great showing them, and even against 100 Thieves in G2, they were just looking so good. So it's quite crazy as well that this Gen G team also was the team that lost against RIQ. Interesting. I'm pretty sure they did lose against RIQ, but now as we get into stage two now, Gen G they're in a bit of a deep hole, but I think with the points that they have, they should make it to champions. I think easily via points if they just win maybe 3, 4 matches maybe. So it should be pretty easy for Gen G to make it to champions, and relatively it should be, but knowing Gen G and knowing how the map 2 and 3 went, they probably have choked, I'll be honest, but we'll find out. Before we end this video, let's just have a quick recap of the Master Shanghai results. In 11th and 12th, we have T1 Dragon Range Gaming. 9th and 10th, we have Leviathan and Fun Plus Phoenix. 7th through 8th, we have Edward Gaming and Fnatic. 5th through 6th, we have PaperX and Foot Esports. Then in the top 4, we have 100 Thieves in 4th, G2 Esports in 3rd, Team Heretics in 2nd, and in 1st place, Gen G Esports, getting those 3 precious VCT points. And finally, as well, my Pickems. Now, my Pickems wasn't the best. Group A only got Heretics and G2 right for round 1. Round 2, I only got Gen G, Leviathan, and Foot correct. Then round 3, I had Team Heretics correct. And then as well for the teams that were going to make it out of the playoffs, I actually got 3 out of 4 correct. And the only one I missed out on was Team Heretics as I put Leviathan in. And while for the playoffs, it was really bad. I only got Heretics, 100 Thieves, and Gen G correct, only making it a pretty poor points of 45. While for the simulation, round 1, they only got Heretics right. Round 2, they got every single team correct. Round 3, they got none of them correct. For the teams that were going to be in the playoffs, they only got 2 out of 4. They had G2 and Gen G. While T1 Leviathan they missed out, so they got Foot and Heretics wrong. While for the playoffs, it was also pretty bad there, as well for the simulation. For the upper quarterfinals, they only got G2 and 100 Thieves correct. While in the lower round one, they got Paperx and Foot Esports correct, meaning they have a score of 55 points, and which means as well with all the calculations as well from all the other Pickems during this year VCT. It is currently 6-3 my way. So the simulations are kicking up, are catching up, but we'll see how they go in stage 2 and in champions as well. But that is really about it from me. I hope you guys enjoy it. And obviously, this week in VCT, it'll be going back to a Sunday. I wanted to make it as a Monday just because I don't really have, just so it's not like an awkward thing where I need to talk about grand finals during episode 8 of this week in VCT. But either way, so that's really about it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Catch you guys next time in the next one. Goodbye.